Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Shop from My Garage. Today we are looking at this 2021 CX-9, Mazda CX-9. Now, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a CX-9, CX-5, Mazda 3, Mazda 5, Mazda 6, CX-7, CX-50, CX-70, RX-8, MX-5, CX-90. It doesn't matter. They all have the same issue, you know, and it's not an issue that comes up and you know, but I mean, it's okay. It's one of those things. You have a power seat. Eventually, something in that power seat is going to go out, and in this case, it's the motor that runs the seat forward and backward, and we have to replace not just the motor. We got to replace the entire bottom assembly because that's the way they come. They come with the entire bottom assembly just to get that motor. But you cannot get the seat out. You got to get the seat track out in order to replace it. And you can't get it out if you can't move it forward and backward. So that's the issue that we're going to have. That's the issue that we're going to have to deal with. I've had to deal with this many times on many vehicles. Mazdas, you know, not just Mazdas, but yeah. So we may have to use, you know, hammers and pry bars, and you never know. We're going to try different things to try and get this thing moved so we can get the seat out and we can replace the entire seat bottom. We're going to be replacing the seat frame that comes with all of the motors, the whole motor pack and everything. And we're even going to be replacing the switch in this. So let's get into this and see what we need. You know, where's my blowtorch? Plasma cutter, jaws of life. Oh no. Okay, let's get in here and see what we're looking at. So right there, see if I can get y'all in here. Right here is the seat motor. This is the culprit. This is the one that's not working. I can hit the button. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it clicking, but it ain't moving. And that's the thing. It just will not move. It's not moving the thing forward and back. And we can't replace just that motor. We got to replace the entire seat bottom. So this entire seat has to come out. So we got to get this entire seat out so we can disconnect the back from the bottom. We got to take this cover off, you know, this seat trim and all this stuff. So there are ways that what we need to do is get this trim off. Get this trim off and then see if we can get under there and get to that motor assembly. But first, and right now the seat is all the way up. I can move the seat down. So you can see that in the very front here, once we get this trim out, we should be able to get to this bolt right here. And then there's another bolt on the other side right there. And we should be able to get to those. But the ones in the back, we can't get to. The seat track needs to move forward before we can even get to them. It's covered by the top of the seat track in the back. So we need to move it forward. But before we move it forward, we're going to get these bolts out right here. And then we're going to lift this thing up and take this cover off. And we're going to fight to try and get that thing to move. And we're going to try a couple little tricks to see if we can get the motor moving. If we can get the motor moving, then that's the best option, you know. If not, I've done some things in the past where the motor would move only on one side but not the other side, and I was able to take the little rod in there and hook my drill up to it and then spin it with the drill to get that other side to move. But in this case, it's not moving at all, and I don't think my drill will fit in there to get to the other side, and then the other side, I don't know. We'll see. We may have to pull the entire seat that motor assembly out, maybe we can slide the thing back and forth, you know, or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't want to go. Maybe these rods that are in here that you can't see right now, maybe we can loosen those and then slide those through. If not, you know, we're gonna be prying on it, banging on it, you know, anything we can to get this seat out. And then I'll show you the seat right here. This is what we're replacing, and this is the motor assembly that is, you know, in question, the problem that we're having. And then, you know, this is the top. So yeah, it's just a bare. Here's the motor for the recliner, and then there's other motors in here that for moving the thing up and down and stuff like that. Look, it even has the fan motor. This is for your cooler, your seat cooler. So and everything else has to be moved over. So let's get into this and see if we can get this thing moved over. I'm gonna pull the trim off first and see if we can get to it. And well, let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna move the seat back up. Come on, go up. So that I can try and get this trim off, because as you can see, it kind of moves forward a little bit. But there is a special way that this trim goes on, and I can't get my hand around it because I can't get the seat to move forward. It's hooked on the front up here. It has a hook that hooks it on, so you don't want to grab this and pull it because you'll break it. But there are clips in the back that hold it on, that you have to pull them. You got to pull them to get them out, and of course you don't want to break it. Maybe I can go around the door, push it from the back side here. Okay, I can get the back trim off. There it is. Very tedious. Oh, yep. Then push it forward, and I should be able to get it off the bottom. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so well, actually, if you see this, with this up right there, I can get to that bolt pretty easily. This bolt down here, right there. And of course, the one in the front, can't get this out of the way. This wiring harness here, I can move this. There's another piece of trim down here that I have to get off, but even when I get this trim off, the upper part of the seat track is covering the lower part, and I can't get to that bolt back there. So, and there are no trims on the other side that block it the way this does, but there's still a upper seat track that is covering the lower seat track. So this has a bolt, a screw right there. So I'll take that screw out. This thing should just come right off, and then we can see how this is covering this. So let me get these bolts out up here first. I don't want to take this trim completely off because I have the I don't want to disconnect the switch because I'm going to have to move it back down again. And this forward and backward thing, you see it works, the seat back, right? So we want to move the seat back forward before we disconnect this, because it's going to make it easier getting it out of here. So I need to get these off. That's a inverted Torx, so I need an inverted Torx socket. So let me grab that, and then we'll start pulling this trim off here. Okay, this uses an inverted Torx. That's what, I don't know if you can see that. That is what an inverted Torx looks like. This is a E12, and yeah, it's a lot of different manufacturers use them. It ain't just BMW. Especially for seat tracks and stuff like that. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a common socket, so they don't want just anybody coming in here taking seats out. I really don't understand it at all. But yeah, a lot of manufacturers use them for their seats, and I mean, you could just use a regular bolt. I don't know why it has to be something like this, you know. So yeah, so that's this one. Oops. I accidentally hit the, wait, did that thing move? Seriously? No, it didn't. Okay. So I accidentally hit this button right here. This is the set presets, and the thing started moving. I thought the thing actually moved back. So I was hopeful for a second. So let me get that other side out, and then we'll try and deal with this over here. Okay, let me get this off. Just one screw right here. And there was a clip in the back. I already unclipped it so I can slide this out. So now you can see that the rear top of the rear seat track, it goes all the way to the end. Let's go around this door here. So the actual bolt we need to get out is up underneath here. So there's just no way to get that bolt out. We need to get the seat track out of the way, and it's the same way on this other side. This other side has a trim piece that I don't think that we're going to be able to get out unless we take the seat out, because it's got a screw inside there that I can't get out. You know, I can move it up and down like this. That's not going to help because we're still, the bolt is right there. We need to get this upper seat track that way. And let's see, here's the motor assembly right there. And one thing we can try to do, I don't think it'll work, is take these nuts out and try and pop this thing off. If we can do that on both sides, and it's the same thing down here, so I don't know if you can see it way back there, the connector's in the way, but it's the same thing on that other side. So that'd be one thing to try. First thing I'm going to try is just tapping this motor, you know, with a hammer or a pry bar or something, like tapping it just to see if it starts working. And if it does, we just need to move it forward just enough to get our socket in there and get that bolt loose. So let me get something, let me tap this and see if it will start working. Okay, I'm going to take the back of this pry bar right here, and I'm going to stick it on top of that, and I'm just going to smack this pry bar with my hammer, see what happens. Okay, let's see if I can move it. Oh, look at that. All right, it moved. That worked. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I know that it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I'll just smack it with a hammer and it'll start moving. No, it does not always do that. It does not always do that, and then you're in a fight. And I'm serious. I seriously mean. I mean, I kind of wish it wouldn't have worked, so we could go through all that other stuff. But it's just a waste of time at this point. You can see I moved it up enough that we can get to these bolts, both sides. So let's get these out, and let's see if we can, you know, get the seat out and do all the rest of the stuff. We ain't nowhere near finished with this. It's tough to do this job anyway. You know, not counting the seat not moving. So let me get those loose and see what happens. Okay, I got those bolts out, but just for the heck of it, let's try and take this off just to see if this would work. Some of them you can't do this. Some of them you can. Okay, let me see. Those bolts out. If I lift this, now see, it's lifting the motor assembly, but it's not lifting this piece right here. This piece right here has the gear in it that runs alongside this shaft on the inside that is like a what do you call it? It's like a what do you call the thing? The rod that has thread, all thread or something like that. Anyway, so it runs along that, and that's what pushes the thing forward and back. And as long as this piece is in here, it will not move. Now, if you took a pry bar or something like that onto it, and you smacked it with a hammer, and let's see if I pry this thing up. So, yeah, I mean, if you smack this thing with a hammer and you broke it into pieces, then you could get the thing to slide back and forth. But the problem is, you got to do it on the other side too. You know, you got to do it way down, way back. The other side, way back there. So, trying to get back there, I mean, if you can get the nuts out, you might be able to pull this motor assembly with these rods here completely off, out of the way. You get a long enough pry bar way back there, you smack that thing, hopefully it knocks it out of the way, and then you can slide the whole thing. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. Let me get this disconnected, get the harness disconnected. There's a harness under the seat, and let's put this, what am I going to do? Bring this thing back down to give us more room to get this thing out of here. And I get the harness disconnected, get this trim off, and we'll pull this seat out, and I will start working on it from there. Okay, let me show you this connector because there's something a little bit different. It has this connector right here. Push that down, pull this out, you know, and wasn't that tough. You know, you don't want to pull connectors by the harness, but this one it's not in there that hard. And then you got to pull this thing out. There's a little tab inside there that you have to push, and then you can pull the entire thing out, and you can see all the different connectors that are in there. The ones marked yellow, that's airbag stuff. So yeah, we got to deal with airbag and stuff like that. So yeah, let me pull this seat out now. Should be able to pull it out. So come on, get out of there. Okay, I got this piece of plastics here on the ground just to keep this thing from getting all tore up and scraped up and dirty and everything like that. So I'm just gonna start digging into this thing. Need to get this trim off. We already got the trim off the other side. Need to get the seatbelt off. This is the trim piece that we were looking at before that I got loose from the back side there. But there's that one screw that we weren't going to be able to get out unless we pulled the seat out first. These trim pieces should just slide off, and I'm not going to worry about those right now because they need to be moved over to the other one. So just start by pulling this trim off and this seat belt. Alright, I'm going to turn this over like this. We got to get this piece of fabric out of the way, and I got some trim pieces, or trim clips rather. Some trim clips down here. They're, what do you call them? The Christmas tree clips. Yeah. So they look like that. Christmas tree clips is what they call them. You got 3 of them holding this fabric on. And then this right here clips around to the bottom of this bracket, or this metal part of the bottom. So what we need to do is we need to get this seat back off. We're going to take these bolts out and get the seat back off, but we need to get this wiring harness. There's a wiring harness on the side back here, and we need to get that loose and that out so we can get this off. And this is let me see. Okay, so this is part of the seat bottom. So is this. So we don't need to deal with this right now. But we do need to get these harnesses right here. So these 2 harnesses go in there. They come through here, underneath that. Let me unclip that right there. That little clip. And they're going to go all the way to our connector. So let me set these aside. Okay, so this one wire right here goes down into here, down behind all this, behind this, through this fabric piece that is sewn in right there, into the back of this connector here. This connector we need to take apart. We needed to pull a bunch of connectors out. So it's important that we know where those connectors are. So I need to get this connector right here separated from the rest of everything. So you see that, all these connectors right there. So this one that we're following is actually the airbag connector, this yellow one. So we need to get this one out. Push on that tab. At least I think it's that tab. Maybe, maybe not. Push on that tab and pull it out. There it is. So that piece comes out. Don't forget where it goes. Of course, it can only fit in one spot. So just roll this through this piece of fabric. And it has a clip down inside there. I don't know if you can see. I don't know how long my light's gonna actually work. Let's see if I can get that clip out. Just yank it out of there. Come on, get out of there. Doesn't matter how it comes out, as long as it gets out and I don't mess up the actual harness. Seriously? Thought it was out. Nope, still not out. Okay. Okay, now you can pull this thing up, and it runs up underneath this piece right here, which I don't think that we can take this off until we get the seat back off. So I'm gonna run it. Pull that out. So that's one. That's one of them out. Then we got this other one. What is this? 2. There is a connector right here. This green connector. So I can get this out of here. I can pull that one out. So okay, now we got them both. Now I'm gonna turn this thing on the side and take the side bolts out. Okay, it looks like I missed some. There's two wires on this side too that run along through this two harnesses. There is a clip up there that I don't know how I'm gonna get to. I need to push this clip up. There, that's out of the way. So, get this harness, let's see where that goes. There is a connector right there. Get it out of there. See where the other one goes. The other one goes right here to this weird looking connector. Well, I thought that was it. I'm gonna pull this one loose. That goes to the control module. Sits inside there. So let me see if I can get these out. Okay, I got that thing out. I pulled these connectors, all these connectors up right here. And these green ones right here, most of these, well, at least these two, I would say. No, these two. They come with the new one. So this harness right here comes from this. This is the air blower for your seat cooler. All of these motors and stuff, the harness is going to come from this right here. So everything that I can disconnect, let's see, this has a strap that goes around like that. This harness right here, this module has to be moved over. And all these connectors have to come off of these motors. So I get these motors off, or this entire harness disconnected. This seat belt buckle is connected to the back of that. I'm gonna have to take that off. I may have to take most of these out of here. I don't know, we'll find out. This piece right here has to come off of there. This goes with the seat cushion. And of course we got to get all of these little connectors like this off of there, off of the seat, these seat springs and all that stuff. So let me start pulling all this junk out of here. Okay, certain things like this right here, and it's hard to see this. You got to get something underneath it and start pulling it off. It wraps around. So this thing wraps around. You see the way that this has this channel right here, and it goes onto this piece, and it just grabs it around like that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, just so you know, if you're ever messing with anything like this, and it doesn't have to be on a Mazda, but I am pretty sure that these seat tracks and seat bottoms and stuff like that were built in a razor blade factory. So there are pieces of this that they're razor sharp, edges that are completely razor sharp. I'll show you on this one. This piece right here is rounded over, so it's perfectly fine, but the area that rounds back this direction, that's sharp. These edges right here, these are sharp. On the inside, these are razor sharp right there. That is razor sharp. You run your finger on it, it will cut you, and it will cut you to the bone. It does not care. You have to be careful of how you put your fingers in here, because it will slice it either all the way to the bone, or it will just completely slice your skin completely off. I mean, it is that sharp. It's ridiculously sharp. And we got to get in here and get all these little clips like this one right here. So I'm gonna get around here, pull that clip off like that. And there are these clips like this hooked to the outside. There's some more. You see this channel right there, the way that channel comes around, and you just gotta grab it and pull it off, and you see how this channel hooked to that. And there's a bunch more underneath here, right there. So I need to get all that off, and then I can start to remove this. This piece right here is staying with the thing. This piece, however, has to somehow fit down into there, and I have to figure that out once I start pulling the cushion off. There are these trim pieces that are on the side, and you can't take them out until we get this cushion off. So they're kind of like the last thing to come out, the first thing to go in. So let me get around here and get all this thing pulled off so I can get this cushion off. Okay, so you can see how much of a nightmare this thing is to get it apart, and especially to try and keep from cutting yourself wide open. This is the new one, and it's pretty much got this tore down to the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is what we have here. So I try not to move that stuff around too much, so that I know exactly where to put it. This harness is where I'm going to start. This control module is going to bolt down into there, and we got harnesses that go all over the place. So, and that's all I had to take out. Take a couple connectors. I think I got like 2 or 3 of them. Not too bad. And just trying to remember where these clips went and stuff, what plugged in where, and it all pretty much kind of falls into place. Here's the upper motor on the other side. I say upper, it's the lowest motor. So yeah, let me get all this put back together and let's see what happens. Okay, here it is. And I hope I got everything hooked up, because if not, it ain't gonna work. So that's what it looks like on the bottom with all this together. And this, so doing this job is kind of a pain. Well, and it's a pain. You've seen all the parts that you got to deal with, and then you got to remember where everything goes. It's even more of a pain to try and film. It's almost impossible. I wish I could have filmed it a lot better, because you can do this job yourself. You know, if you wanted to do this in your driveway or in your garage or whatever, you could do this job. It's not that bad. You just got to be careful. Don't cut yourself, and just remember where all the wires go and stuff. Now, it's a little bit different since this is the driver's seat right here. It's a little bit different than if you were doing the passenger side. So the passenger seat has a occupancy classification system, and so if you have a vehicle that has a passenger side airbag, then you have an occupancy classification system. And what that does is that lets the airbag system know that there's somebody sitting in the passenger seat, and lets them know what the weight of the passenger is, if they're a little kid or if they're full-grown adult, you know, and where the position of the seat is compared to the airbag, so it can determine how to deploy that airbag if you were to wreck or something. So whenever that seat is taken out, if you have a passenger airbag in your vehicle and you decide, hey, I'm going to take the passenger seat out and just like clean the carpet underneath the seat, hang on, don't do that, because whenever you take the seat out and you put it back in, it has to be calibrated. If it's not calibrated, then you could have an airbag light come on, and that would be a good thing. Airbag light coming on, setting a code saying that it needs to be calibrated because it's been moved. But more importantly, the airbag light probably won't come on, and that's not good, because you don't know it needs to be calibrated, and it might not know the size and weight of the person sitting in the passenger seat if you were to ever wreck. So just don't take the seat out if you don't have to. If you do, take it to your dealer and get the seat occupancy classification system recalibrated. It needs to be recalibrated. We don't have to recalibrate it because we're doing the driver's side. So just to let you know, on some newer vehicles, those require calibration too on the driver's side, because they have new airbags. You know, just have the driver's airbag, and of course this has the driver's airbag. This has the side airbag, and it has the pre-tensioner in the seatbelt, you know. But newer systems have seat bolster or knee bolster airbags, and you know, airbags in the door, all kinds of weird stuff. So in those new systems, they may need to be calibrated. We're ready to put the seat back in, so let me grab that seat and let's get it in there. Get this in here without putting scratches and stuff all over the... I don't think it's gonna go in like that. Come on, get in there. Try not to scratch up everything. Just scratch up a little, not a lot. Okay, this seat riser was all the way up. Pop it into place, just like that. We can get to all the bolts, plug in all our stuff, and we're ready to go. Okay, I got this thing in here. I got those bolts and everything. I got the new switch put on, and I got everything torqued down. And what I mean by torqued is I tightened it, you know, as tight as I could till my elbow popped, and so that's good enough. See this rod in here? This is what I was talking about, that all thread or whatever you call it. That's where that that gear runs along there. So I need to get this back on, and we got a new switch. The technician that ordered the part ordered a new switch too. I don't know why, but it's a good thing that he did, because when I was pulling those, I don't know, where did I put them? When I was pulling those little knob things off, it broke the old switch. So let me get all this put back together and let's see how everything works. Okay, there it is. Everything is working. Up and down, back, front, seat back. It's all good. So, just for the heck of it, just for the sake of things that make you go, let's see if we can get this thing loose. See if I can do this without, you know, breaking everything. I'm just gonna try and hit this with a pry bar. This is plastic right here. I'm just gonna try and break it. See if I can break it loose. This could go bad. Okay, so there's the gear in there, and with that loose, that gear off of that piece right there, will it slide? No, it won't. Nope, I can't get it to slide at all. As a matter of fact, let me break this out of here. It's got this little worm gear on here, and it has another worm gear. So this is why that won't work. It has another worm gear right inside there. So it spins this, and spinning that turns that piece of all thread that's sitting way down in there right now. It turns that thing, which makes this thing slide. So even if we had broken that thing off, it still wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. Yeah, the next thing, I don't know, you know, trying to pry the thing loose. So it's a good thing that we got that motor working, because otherwise we'd probably still be trying to get it apart. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you, and I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.